Excellent. I see we're just getting connected and we open the group. I see some people joining. We'll give it a bit of time for allowing everybody to join and connect. Good morning for those that are coming in. I see some people writing already. Hello, RB. Good morning. Yeah, I wanted to check this from our tech team. I think, well, the chat function is open, so we can allow for people to write there on the chat section. Rosa, Bairu, where are you connecting, Rosa, from? And for those that are connecting already, I see about 30 people so far. Tell us where are you connecting from and where are you from and where are you at the moment located? Are you in the UAE? Are you abroad? Memo, good morning. Tina da Silva, good morning in Dubai. Good morning, everyone. Walid. Munir from Lebanon, good morning. Munir, Walid. Memo in Dubai. Good, good. So far, a lot of people from Dubai. From Turkey, good morning. A mobile app venture in Dubai. Interesting. Good, good. Good to connect. I will give it a bit of time. I see about 45 people connected so far. Belém from Dubai. I see a lot of Spanish names this morning. Belén, Dina da Silva, or Munir, well, not Munir, Tina. Connecting from Dubai. Yeah, also Munir, Brazilian. You see, I see a lot of Spanish-speaking community logging in today, which is good to know. I'm from Argentina, by the way, for those that don't know. 50 people connected. We'll give it some time. It's only 11 a.m. now, and officially we're supposed to start. Sad from Morocco. Good morning, Sad. We will have to give it a couple of minutes. The webinar officially starts at 11, so we don't want to miss on anybody joining. Memo Gomez, Mexico. I'm saying there's a big Latin affluence today. Memo Gomez, good morning, Memo. Are you in Mexico or are you in Dubai? Edgardo, on behalf of Colombia, good. I live in Dubai, Slovakia. Karim, thank you, Lorenzo, for this initiative from Morocco. It's our pleasure, Karim. We're truly passionate about these topics and supporting startups and entrepreneurs. I think we are all sort of on a similar journey, and it's good to share one another's experiences and challenges and successful things as well. Seda from Dubai. Michelle, good morning from Dubai. 11:02. We'll give it another minute or two. I see 80 people connected. Maybe the other question that we can start raising is, for those that are connected so far, are you already operating your own business? Are you in the middle of setting up a company or launching your new initiative? Francesco, good morning from Italy. Tell us a little bit where you're operating it. Lara, good morning. Naveen. So do you own a business already? Are you running a business so far? Are you thinking about launching a business and getting started? I'd like to know, what is the audience? Who are we talking to? Lara, running a business. Good. And maybe include how long. Is it 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? How long you've been in business? Good day, everybody. Sportswear brand, business owner, ZZ, my sponsor. Very good, Walid. Good to connect. Dubai based. And how many years are you in business? For 3 days in SaaS. Very good. Good morning, Kimberly. I'm thinking of establishing a company in the UAE. Nice, Michelle. 2 years, Lara, in business. What I really find fascinating many times is I come across a lot of very successful companies that got started with us, let's say 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, and I can get to see that they become very successful companies. I think over the weekend I happened to be buying some clothes online, and I went on this website called Wolf. What was it called? Squat Wolf. You can check them out, and I happened to see that later on they are a Creative Zone client. They started with us 4 or 5 years ago, and I think they raised something like $21 million recently on a Series A round. Sports leather and garments wear since 1991. Eman, very good to hear. Today we want to make it a little interactive. We want to hear about everybody's sort of journey and hear sort of people's feedback as we go along. I don't want this to be a one-sided monologue from my side. Been corporate business for over 20 years, working for a group, developing my own business idea. That's the case. Many times this is the journey. We see a lot of people going from the corporate world and becoming their own bosses and getting started into startups and entrepreneurs. C2C clothing, e-commerce marketplace, Memo, good to know. All right, it's 11:04. I think we can slowly get started. I see about 100 people connected. Again, formally, once again, thank you so much for connecting. My name is Lorenzo Joris. I am the CEO of Creative Zone. We're one of the largest business setup advisory companies in the Middle East. We have offices in the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. I've been in Dubai and the UAE for about 15 years. I owned several businesses before joining Creative Zone. I had a successful media company. So I've been in both worlds, in the corporate world and in the startup world as an entrepreneur as well. I know the challenges that it implies to be an entrepreneur in this region. So today is all about sort of sharing a little bit of what has been my journey in these 15 years, a lot of what I've learned along this journey. And as a company at Creative Zone, we set up over 200 new companies per month. I get to see a lot of stories on how people set up their businesses, how they grow it, how they scale their businesses, how they expand their businesses. So there's a lot of knowledge that I'm able to sort of gather from our own clients and the stories that I see from people that set up businesses with us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a little presentation to share today with a few slides. Let me see if I can find this. Sorry. Second. There we go. Excellent. So I think everybody can see my screen at the moment, right? Getting some WhatsApp messages as well as we go along. Just checking this quickly. 1 second. Great. So I think everybody can see my screen, right? So you're part of this session. Is part of this today's session is part of our program called the Startup Academy. It's an initiative that was launched together with Wio Bank and the Birmingham University of Dubai and 15 other partners. It's a 16-week sort of training cohort of sessions and workshops. We have this incredible lineup of 16 speakers, coaches and mentors that you're going to be enjoying throughout this program. We have incredible people like Omar Al Busaidi, a very successful entrepreneur from the UAE, a local Emirati. Cesar Val is an expert on luxury products, and he's been working in the luxury industry for many years. Kelly Lamberg, a personal brand advisor, very well known in the region and the work that she's doing with supporting women entrepreneurs. Coach Leonela, is a mindset coach, incredible work. If you haven't seen the work that she does, go and follow her on Instagram. She puts a lot of incredible content. Nathan Faruja, he's from Malta. He's the managing director of Vistage. It's one of the world's biggest peer-to-peer coaching groups. It's a great concept what Vistage is doing, and Nathan is leading this initiative. Mariam Farag, Flo, Edward Matti, an incredible consultant here for many, many years in the Middle East. We have Julia Jackal, the CEO of Creative 971, Dr. Corey, a very well-known business coach in the Middle East, and the list goes on and on. Altaf, a dear friend and someone that we're working very close. So it's a real unique opportunity for us to have been able to put together this incredible team of people to sort of share their knowledge and their experience and put it together in this program called the Startup Academy that we are looking at empowering over 1,000 startups. In today's call, I think I see already 150 people connected. So it's a real pleasure to meet you all and to have this session with you. My session for today is called the Next Generation Entrepreneur. I think there is a lot out there in regards to the work that is being done by young entrepreneurs and what we call the next generation entrepreneurs. To us, a next generation entrepreneur is someone that is very sort of in sync and connected with what's happening out there in terms of technology, in terms of AI, in terms of e-commerce. There's a lot of new formats that are taking shape precisely in the business world that are kind of reshaping the way that we do things. I'm just going through some of my slides. I'm going to jump around in different slides, but when one gets to see some of the biggest unicorns and the biggest growing companies over the last few years, you know, they're all IT tech related. You see companies like Netflix valuated nowadays on over $146 billion. And in fact, I think this is already outdated because I think Netflix added a few $1 billion on their valuation only in the last week. I saw their stock price jump dramatically over the last few days. We have Facebook, Airbnb, Uber, Amazon, Spotify, PayPal, Zoom, Google, Slack. We're talking about companies being valuated over $26 billion, Slack, Spotify, $25 billion. These are all tech related. If we are to look at the difference of the Fortune 500 list only 10 years ago in 2013 versus 2023, we get to see that in 2023, in 2013, out of the top 20 companies in the Fortune 500 list, we had only one big group, tech group, which was Apple. And now we can see how there's a shift happening. And in 2023, we have 5 companies and more coming on: Amazon, Apple, Alphabet with Google, and Microsoft. So this starts showing the importance on how we're shifting into an IT, AI related world. And you can see how the bigger conglomerates, oil-based companies are kind of subsidizing power over to what tech starts to represent around the world of what they mean for business. Now, why entrepreneurship? The concept of the importance of entrepreneurship is growing on a day by day for many reasons. You know, the impact that entrepreneurs bring to the economy. I think it's estimated that 40% of the GDP of the world is constituted by SMEs and entrepreneurs, and they represent 50% of the employment worldwide. So it's very important for us to understand how important it is, the value that people like you, SMEs and startups and entrepreneurs bring to the world economy. And these figures continue to grow. I think total startup funding in 2021 surpassed $600 billion. And there's over 1,000 unicorns that were recognized over last year. I have somebody from my tech team here showing up. Tell me.
Could you stop sharing and could you share again?
Okay, I have to reshare my screen. Okay. I think something was not coming out well on my screen. Okay. Please, if you guys can get to see my screen now. 1 second. Is it showing now? My screen showing, yeah? Okay. All right, great. So we're back online. So we sort of went through the importance of tech and tech related and AI related companies. Now, the good news is that the UAE is also betting very big on tech and tech companies. They're looking to increase the total GDP of the tech industry by 25%, or to get to represent 25% of the total GDP. Now in the UAE, we have some incredible stories. If you haven't heard of the people raised in this slide, I suggest that you go and take a look at who these people are. We have JC Butler, who founded Dubizzle back in the day, Swivel, Mustafa Kamil, and Frisek, Abdullah Abu Sheikh, who's done an incredible work. Sorry, I think my team is telling me, is the sound, do we have an issue with the sound? Sorry, let me go back to the main screen so I can see what people are writing in the chat. Voice is breaking. Is sound okay? Can you guys hear my sound properly? It is breaking. What a shame. 1 second, let me maybe move the microphone into the camera instead of the microphone itself. Can you hear me now? Now it's better sound. I took out the this microphone. We'll get rid of this. Is that okay? A bit better, yes. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I go and share my screen again. Okay, and yeah, so to the tech team, let me know if you see any problems that come up with the audio or the video. Let me know. So I was sharing a little bit the stories of such companies, you know, that are born from the UAE. We have companies like Dubizzle, Swivel, Resec, you know, the work that Abdullah Abu Sheikh is doing. He's building an ecosystem of tech companies here out of the UAE. Property Finder, these are all sort of unicorns. Karim, you know, the work with Mudassir, and I think we have some other examples here as well to share. Souk.com, of course. And I like here, my team left Google, the founder. I think Sina, they didn't get to put who was the founder of Sina. Maybe we can go and find that name. So this is kind of the first slide into what I wanted to start talking about today, which is that leap to entrepreneurship. You know, what happens in that first moment where you decide to start your company? And in my case, what happened was I started to play with the idea of launching a business. I see this journey of something that shouldn't be forced, something that it should come natural to you. And I really recommend that at the beginning. That's why we put this play with the idea. I remember back in the day, I started sort of launching my media company, and I started getting in touch with a TV station and suggesting I would like to air my TV shows with you guys. And they said, yeah, no problem. Then I went on and I opened my company. Everything felt non-stress related. So I suggest that at the beginning, play with the idea and start seeing how far you go. A second sort of suggestion is it takes a while. You really need to think of launching your business as a long-term game. I see a lot of people launching themselves into business and then very quickly, 3, 4, 5 months later, realize that it's taking a little bit longer than expected. They didn't have enough sort of runway to launch, to operate their businesses, and they very quickly get demotivated by the lack of results. So I would suggest always know that this is going to take a while. Now, the concept of partnerships, at the beginning, I couldn't recommend more for you to go and, you know, focus a lot on partnerships, whether it is through potential people that you're partnering with. It's great to have someone that is going to be part of this journey with you. Really, one complements another when you have a partner, someone that is sort of on the day-to-day with you, but also how can you partner yourself with entities around you, people that are within the same ecosystem. Balance yourself at the beginning for sure. Make sure that you have a good work-life balance. that you are, taking care of your mental health is a big issue for startups and entrepreneurs. I'm sure many of you can agree with me that being an entrepreneur is mentally challenging, and you need to be ready for that journey. Now, this topic of love versus reality, I hear a lot of people saying, you got to do what you love. I have a slightly different opinion. I'm more like, don't do what you love, do what you need to do. Sometimes in business, we get given opportunities, and I see a lot of people becoming successful by default of jumping into a specific opportunity. And this relates to this last point here that I have, is be opportunistic. Look around your environment and see what it is that represents an opportunity. Let's say that you have a friend that works at a cement company in Ras Al Khaimah, since they're so famous for that, and you go and explore, and suddenly you realize that they need a specific product to be imported from Europe, and then suddenly you identify this opportunity, you find it, you fix a problem for this company, and suddenly you become the biggest supplier of this specific product that this manufacturing company needed. But you never thought that you would love, the issue of supplying this type of product. So I'm saying sometimes balancing between doing something that you truly love versus finding the right opportunity, it's the right approach to looking at how one can develop a business. Now, the issue of personal branding, I see a lot of companies being developed on people's brands and personal brand, how they expose themselves on social media nowadays, with the importance of Instagram and how people are using these platforms to really put a message across of what they do. Now, when you are launching your business, I think it's important that you identify in which category are you looking to fall. Are you building a lifestyle business, or are you looking to create something that is to scale? I think this is important right at the beginning, because it really requires a different approach in all these areas, on who you are, on what is the mindset that you're going in for, what is the scalability possibilities, do you have an exit strategy and operations? So very quickly, we can go through this. On who you are, if you are self-employed, you are basically working for that entity. You are a sort of a freelancer or a sole proprietor of that entity. As an entrepreneur, you are more about, or a business that you're looking to scale, you're about looking what is the market opportunity, and it's all about thinking how can you scale this into a bigger thing. The mindset that we were saying is you are there running the day-to-day of the business. You become sort of the key driver. On the other side, when you are an entrepreneur on a business to scale, you're focused on innovation and growth, on building something bigger than yourself, something it surpasses your own sort of personal space. The exit strategy, that's a key element. At the beginning, when you're building something that is a lifestyle business, you're not thinking about how can you exit this. Is this a business that somebody can sort of buy from you 5, 10, 15 years down the line? And the last key question to this is, if you are self-employed, can the business operate without you? Most probably not. If you are not in the equation, if you're not on the day-to-day, and this is a lifestyle business, probably the business will not operate without you. And when you are an entrepreneur of a business to scale, that's the aim, is to create something that doesn't require you to be there on the day-to-day. So I think this is an important way of looking, what are you getting yourself into? Are you creating a lifestyle business, or are you creating a business to scale? So maybe in the comments there on the chat function, I like to hear, are you looking to create a lifestyle business? Are you building something, a business to scale? And do you understand the differences between one another? I like to hear some of the people on the chat. It's good to see we have over 200 people connected, so it's great to see so many people connected. And as we go along, also do write your questions on the Q&A section. I would like to read some questions as they come. From you, good question from Chris. Can you transition from self-employed to self-entrepreneur? That's a really good question. In fact, this is something that happened to me back in the day when I started my media company. I built a company that back then was a lifestyle business. If I wasn't involved in the day-to-day, the business wouldn't run. So I tried to scale the business. I started hiring a team around me, and it was very challenging. I felt that the business model that I had was very difficult to be scaled. So even I would say at the beginning, it's crucial that you understand in which direction you're going, because sometimes some of these lifestyle businesses are very difficult to scale up without your day-to-day involvement. Shamim is saying, all depends on the opportunity. I feel one needs to be flexible and not rigid. 100%. Very good comment. All right, so going to my next slide, I think when we get into business, and especially coming out of school and universities, I don't think they really teach us what it really means to run a business. This is why I have what you think running a business is and what running a business actually is. When we come out of universities and schools, they teach us, it's all to do with sales, marketing, running finance, operations, client relations, HR, IT strategy, etc. But I can see that on the day-to-day, being an entrepreneur is a lot more than these 7 or 8 key departments or areas. It's really more to do with a lot of what we find in this other box, which is dealing with cash flow, how you deal with non-paying clients and delays from clients. Nowadays, you have to deal with a lot of banking and compliance things. You're going to spend a lot of time going to the bank or reporting or answering questions on compliance-related matters. The compliance is becoming heavier all around the world, and the UAE is as well sort of improving the process of compliance. Tax and accounting, well, tax was recently introduced, corporate tax to companies. There are some benefits given to SMEs and startups. So we still have a very sort of good structure in the UAE, but you're going to be facing legal issues, staff and recruitment and employment issues. People, you have to deal with the turnover of your staff, unsatisfied customers. You're constantly going to be getting on calls with people that are complaining about maybe your team or your product not coming out the way that it was promised. You're going to spend a lot of time networking and working on those connections. You're going to work a lot on supply disruptions and changes in the sort of space of your business. Holidays and the different seasons, as many of you are entrepreneurs here, you understand the impact that the summer months bring into any business here. Things tend to slow down as well. And even holidays, when we look at business from an owner's point of view, and I walk out and talk to my team, for example, we already know that June is going to be a shorter month, right? There is about a week or 4 days holiday towards the end of the month. So those kind of things really impact your business. So an entrepreneur, you have to constantly be looking at these things that are going to be impacting your business. Continuous improvement. You have to constantly be thinking, what's the next big thing in your industry that needs, that is going to make you sort of have a differentiation among your competition. You're going to be dealing with office and furniture related things. And the last one, cybersecurity and IT and CRM related things, but cybersecurity particularly, like for example, even I think 2 days ago, my wife was sharing with me, she's a photographer and her Instagram got hacked. And somebody created another 3-4 accounts with the same name. And so she's losing clients from Instagram. So cybersecurity for SMEs and the protection of your data becomes key. So I wanted to reflect on that, on how is what we get taught in school out of the basic things. There's a lot more in the world of startups and entrepreneurs, as you're all aware, and I'm sure you're facing on your day-to-day. Right, so I'm going to go back into my Q&A sections on the chat to see a little bit, because I'm focusing on my slide. Administrative issues are harder to handle than technical ones. OFA, yes, very good comment. Trying to go, I have spent 75% of my time on the issues you mentioned in business, running for over 65 years. So I can see people are connected. Also include cross-country communications. Indeed, I mean, nowadays we spend a lot of time communicating with our clients and with suppliers and people around the world. So communicating, indeed, that's a very good point. Right, some very good comments. Appreciate that. 250 people connected. This is excellent to see. So the next slide talks about the anatomy of a next generation entrepreneur. And remember, I'm talking about someone that I feel that is connected to, as we're saying, to what's happening out there. I've seen a lot of successful entrepreneurs and business owners through my media career. I went around 30, 40 countries around the world, interviewing very successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and I kept on focusing what are the personal traits that these individuals have that make them so successful. So some of the things that I wanted to raise today are some of these things. Like, for example, they hand out praise freely. They're very good at sort of constantly praising their own teams and the people around them, because they recognize the need of having people around them to run their businesses. So they're very good at constantly praising their teams. They're great at connections and building a network around them. They say you are the average of the 5 people that you're constantly hanging out with, type of thing, right? So the importance of your network, you will realize as you go along in this journey, it's crucial to constantly be around people that are in good positions or in decision makers, or people that can sort of create some business opportunities for you. They're very innovative and creative. Creativity is a very big element because they're constantly trying to rethink how the industry is changing. They're digital tech savvy. They're very connected onto what are the latest trends in the digital world and tech. They're very optimistic about the future. They're constantly finding what is the future like, and they have an optimistic eye to how they see the future. If you're too pessimistic, if you're constantly nagging about things and stuff, you're very likely to become very successful. They're very big risk takers. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs really finding an opportunity and really jumping on it very quickly. They're sort of first movers into things, and they're very good at very quickly building the team needed around it. Now, they're very disciplined they're very process-oriented and very consistent. They realize that in order to scale things up and to build something of scale, you need to be very process-oriented. You need to be very consistent on the way that you follow up on things and you create the process around your business. They're very charismatic and empathetic, but that doesn't mean that they are sort of very outspoken, very outgoing. I've seen a lot of introverts be very good at businesses. You have cases of Elon Musk, such cases that some of these people are very introvert type of characters. They're very good negotiators. They take their time. They don't press themselves. They take time to get themselves the best deals possible. They're continuous learners. They're constantly trying to learn what is the new things, the new tech, the things that are out there that you can learn that will really make a difference in your business going forward. They have a delegate mentality, delegate, build, and empower mindset. They realize that they can't do everything themselves, and they really need to build a team around them. They're great listeners. I'm surprised some of the great entrepreneurs that I see, they spend a lot of time listening. As they say, when you are in a meeting and you're in a room, don't be the first one to speak. Let everybody around you speak, listen, and then you can articulate what you feel is the best sort of answer to the situation in question. And they manage to create a good work-life balance around them because they know that they're into this for the long haul. And it's a long journey. So any thoughts on the anatomy of a next-gen entrepreneur? I'd like to hear some of your thoughts. I'm going to go back to the chat function. Any comments on this? Does anybody have any other further ideas or suggestions on what do you think is the mindset or the anatomy of a next-gen entrepreneur? I'm also going to go and spend some time on the Q&A and see if there's some good questions there. And feel free to send us your questions and tell us anything that you would like to know. Highly determined. Most of them are early risers. That's a really good point. I see a lot of people that I work with that start messaging one another as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's very common for me to receive messages from my board at 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning. That's a very good point. They're very determined. Work-life balance is quite challenging, especially at the start of the journey. Absolutely agree. It is a problem to not have all of them. Is that a question? I guess it's not a problem. These are just ideas that we're putting out there. We cannot excel at all of this, but then what I would recommend, find people in your team and people around you that can sort of complement you on the things that you feel you don't have within you. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Excellent point. Process discipline, a very good way to attract business. Very good point. Resilient, adaptable, creativity, funding for startup is a problem. Yeah, Naveen, we're going to get to that now in our next slides. This is excellent. Getting a lot of good feedback, guys, from you on believe in yourself, Lara. Really good points. I'm getting a few questions if we're going to be sharing these slides. Of course we are, and we will be sending you the whole presentation after the session. Al-Mudina is saying, I struggle with disciplined element. Yeah, I hear you, and many times for us entrepreneurs, being disciplined is a hard thing, but don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes we don't realize that maybe you feel that day you're not being too efficient, you're not contributing, but it's not actually like that. Sometimes you find yourself over the weekend sending messages, talking to people. Think of it that way, that you're constantly ticking forward on things. It doesn't necessarily need to feel that is work related all the time. Great. I mean, having so many good comments. Network. Do you think an entrepreneur can also do a 9-to-5 job? Yes, why not? Hamza, we see a lot of people go from working in the corporate world and later on moving, or even that's the way that they get started. In fact, I think of 2 or 3 clients that we have. We know one lady that already owns 3 salons for nails and hair and so on, and she has a 9-to-5 job with a very reputable Dubai government company. So she's juggling both worlds very successfully. Right, so a little bit on the challenges that startups are facing and entrepreneurs. We have these sort of 5 main pillars. I think at the beginning, one of the main challenges is the issue of the initial setup process. And this is where companies like Creative Zone come on board and are trying to alleviate the process. But many people don't know what's the right license, what's the right jurisdiction for them to set up a company, what is the right structure for their business. The second big point on this is banking. Banking traditionally has been a big challenge for a lot of startups, and now this is being sort of changed with the work that a lot of the new digital banks are bringing on the table. Some great work is being done. For example, partners of ours like WeoBank that have made it a lot easier for startups and entrepreneurs to open their companies. But then visa-related issues, legal issues, office space. How do I go about renting the right office? Where shall I do it? Or legal requirements. What kind of documents do I need for my company to get established in terms of employment contracts or legal or commercial contracts? These are a lot of the initial setup challenges that a lot of startups have. Then the other point that one of the attendees was mentioning, the financial backing and funding. Here, this point, I think it's more to do with how can you make your project appealing for people to want to come on board with you. I see that this is more to do with the lack of professionalism that a lot of people approach sort of financial institutions and VC funds, rather than to do with the willingness of these institutions wanting to fund a lot of these companies. Honestly, I think it's a 50-50 sort of power struggle that is happening here. I do feel that a lot of startups and entrepreneurs need to up their game on the way that they approach these institutions and really tick on these boxes and understand what it is that makes them attractive to be funded. Access to talent is a big topic. You know, salaries are increasing, human capital and human resources are becoming more difficult to find, especially the right people. So when you run a business, especially a startup, you're gonna have a hard time finding the right talent, and you're gonna have to pay good money for them, because why would individuals go and work for a bit more of a risky or riskier sort of project and not for a well-established organization? So have those things in mind when you are going through this process of launching your business and how you're going to go about finding the right talent. And perhaps it might be that you might have to pay a little bit extra for convincing those people to come and work with you, but then you're going to have to sort of use a lot of your convincing sort of models in order to charm people to come and believe in your project. But finding the right suppliers, finding the right partners, these are a lot of the things that you're going to be having to work, especially early on your project. Regulation and compliance, as we were saying earlier, the UAE is becoming more compliant from an ESR, AML, VAT, corporate tax point of view, and this is impacting your operation. So again, find yourself a good partner, such as Creative Zone or these corporate service providers that can help you with your corporate tax needs, your VAT needs, submitting these ESR and AML reports. When you run a business, you want to focus yourself as much as you can to running a business and not so much on this cumbersome sort of processes that really take away from you being able to focus on what's important for you, on how do you create and generate new business for your entity. And then the last big challenge is this topic of scaling and market access. I see a lot of people not identifying early on their journey that when you look at Dubai or the UAE, you need to be looking at what's the opportunity on the bigger scale on the region. There's a massive opportunity with what's happening in Saudi Arabia, in neighboring countries such as Qatar, Oman, Bahrain. So if you create something that is not only for focusing on the Dubai or UAE market, but is looking to expand into the region and even further down into Africa, into Asia, you'll become very successful. When I had my media company, I did very little business within Dubai, within the UAE. 98% of my business was abroad. But my business looked great because I was Dubai based. I was showing up to clients and people around the Middle East and Africa and Asia. And this was the biggest part of my business was coming from these destinations. So again, I will go back to the chat section. I'd like to hear your thoughts. There's people talking about WeoBank. Can you please share the presentation? I'll be sharing the presentation. Any more challenges that you see startups facing in the early stages of getting started? I'll give it a couple of seconds to get some people mention a few things. Is this session being recorded? Yeah, it is being recorded and is actually streaming on social media, and we will be sending also a copy of the full session. Any comments on challenges and startups? Again, I see 250 people connected, which is great to see. In addition to funding, banking services is a big hurdle. Indeed, banking is a big problem. Competition, indeed, competition is one of the things that you need to be looking at. Cash flow, indeed, we had that at the beginning, and I see a lot of startups making that sort of mistake, not calculating ahead of time. WeoBank phone number, I think you can find on their website. I feel recognition Very good point. I think recognition is another important challenge. Sourcing out of new clients, being overly optimistic. That's such a good comment. I once met a very nice Indian man who runs a very, very successful company here in Dubai. And I remember telling me, you know what people like you and me have is that we have something called third world paranoia. I come from Argentina. This man was from India. I see a lot of people, I agree with that comment, are overly optimistic on the way that they project their numbers and the way that they think in the next 3, 4, 5 months, clients are going to be buying their products, and they realize 6, 7, 8, 9 months down the line that things didn't go out the way that they were expecting. And this is where this third world paranoia concept, to me, I'm somehow a little bit more realistic in setting up expectations and goals. And I think it's very important to have a bit more of a realistic mindset when you're launching yourself into business. Cash flow, finding a mentor, very good point. I think we haven't raised this. I truly believe in you having someone that has gone through this challenge, this journey, and someone that can really point you and guide you in the right direction. And part of what we're trying to do with the Startup Academy is exactly this, is to really guide people and share a little bit of our knowledge. I see that I only have 25 minutes left, and I'm only at, I would say, 30% of my slides. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster on things. But this next slide talks about the 20 key questions that any entrepreneur should be able to answer when you start a business. I did a video on this. If my tech team can put this link on the chat function for everybody to see, and go and watch this video after this. But if you're launching a new business, I would really say go and try to answer these 20 questions, because and try to see if you can score yourself. Say from 1 to 10, where do you see your score in these 20 questions, and how do you feel you're standing in these 20 key things? And you're going to be able to see where do you stand as a business. So questions like, what is the problem that you're solving? How big is the target audience or the market of interest that you are going after? Why will people buy this from you and maybe not from the competition? Why is it that nobody else is doing this already? Is your startup scalable? We were talking a few on some of these topics. What's your burn rate? How long can you last without new investments or new funds coming into your business? You need to be very clear. You need to really understand and project how long can you last without new investments into your business. Will the company be able to run if you're not there? We were talking about this earlier, very key point. Who else is joining you in this journey? As we were saying, having someone part of your team, maybe a partner, is key to help you navigate through the entire journey. So I would suggest try to go through these 20 questions and see where you land and how you score. I'm going to take a little sip of water. I think my team already included the questions there. So recommend go and have a look at that video and see where do you fall within these 20 questions. Now, talking about the next generation entrepreneurs, we're saying that there's a lot of support being given here in the UAE, and this is a great thing for all of us startups and entrepreneurs. Go out and have a look. There's an incredible amount of support being given by institutions listed here, Dubai Future Accelerators and the Dubai Future Foundation, a lot of accelerators and incubator programs, In5, Flag6 Labs, Techstars, 500 Startups, Y Combinator, Seed Starts. We'll be sending you after this a list of all the accelerators and incubators. And we also have a list of all the VC funds, the most successful VC funds. We have companies like Beko Capital and Wanda Capital, Mubadala, of course. 500 Startups also has an important fund that they are investing in. So it's good for you to start understanding who are the people that you're potentially looking into that can potentially help you in your journey and fund your business. But there is an incredible amount of funding that is coming out from this region. I think when we did a little research, the region, precisely the UAE, in 2001 came out with $1.85 billion in funding out of 252 deals were done from the UAE. And you can see Saudi Arabia as well with $907 million with 154 deals. So there's, the region is a capital exporter. If there is something that is very sort of out there in this part of the world is capital and people ready to invest in good ideas. So this is great for startups and entrepreneurs. It's really identifying who are those VC funds and those startups. We did a little analysis to understand what's the age bracket of entrepreneurship. And we got to learn that out of the Middle East and North Africa, the average age of startups is between 25 to 34 years old, which I think it's quite spot on. Of a lot of the people that I see that are looking to do business, launch new business, that doesn't mean that if you're younger, you're older, you're not capable, or you don't. This is just the biggest number of startups and entrepreneurs are within this age bracket. And it's nice to see when we compare it with other countries around the world and kind of try to understand why is the case. Why is it that maybe in North America, the average age is 40 to 44, or in Latin America is similar to us, but maybe in Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa is younger, 18 to 24. And what I sort of devised from this is to do with necessity. I feel that a lot of the developing countries around the world, a lot of people have the need of becoming an entrepreneur at a younger age because of the lack of opportunities in the corporate world, perhaps, and so on. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. I'm losing my voice out of the talking. I'll drink a little more water. And going back to the chat function, I'm seeing some comments. Lara saying, I'm worried about VCs taking control. That's a good point. Whenever you do take money from VCs, well, you have a new partner. You have someone that is going to be asking you questions. They're going to be dictating a little bit where they would like to see you going with your business. So it is a bit challenging. Right. I feel that age plays a double role. You do have more experience when you're older, but you also have less energy. Very good point, Almudena. Indeed, I think, coming from the corporate world and understanding and seeing how companies are run and then jumping into entrepreneurship is a great opportunity, but it's true that you have a bit less energy. On the other side, you understand the importance of delegating and outsourcing and creating a team around you and realizing that you can't do it all. What do you think is the best way to approach VCs with your pitch? Haider, well, this requires an entire new webinar and session. In fact, we do have a whole webinar and session on VC funding, on building your pitch deck. So I'm going to leave that to the experts and to give some tips on how to reach out. Emre is saying, do you think Meydan Free Zone is a good free zone for a technology entrepreneur company? Indeed. I mean, I think Meydan is one of the free zones that we're pushing the most nowadays when we recommend clients for one of the type of jurisdictions where to set up a company from. They have a really good list of activities, especially on tech-related businesses. So definitely, we do recommend Meydan as a great option. Right, moving on, we have a few slides that talk about, the millionaire migration that has been happening in the Middle East, and for us to see what does this represent as an opportunity. I think it was in 2001 or 2002. I can't remember if this is data from 2002. I think the UAE had seen 4,000, and I think this number is even bigger, new millionaires migrate from other jurisdictions or other countries into the UAE. I think Dubai or the UAE Dubai, the biggest city of attracting the biggest number of millionaires and wealthy individuals. And you have the exodus that has happened of Russians and Chinese and Hong Kong, Ukraine, millionaires and wealthy individuals, and other sort of people migrating from those countries into other countries. And I think this is seen on the exodus that has happened from these countries, and the UAE has been a recipient of a lot of new families and people coming into our economy. So the question is, what does this represent as a business opportunity? MENA is really truly overtaking Silicon Valley when it comes to the business or investment landscape. There was an article written by the Financial Times how a couple of months ago, Silicon Valley VCs are hunting or coming into the Middle East looking for investment. So this really shows how important the Middle East has become as a magnet of people wanting to pitch their businesses here, or even for the VC funds to come and look for funding. Now, AI and tech tools are the name of the game nowadays, with everything that's been happening with ChatGPT and OpenAI, and since then, hundreds of new AI-related projects have come on stream. But if you're launching a business and you're not sort of checking how AI and tech tools can help you in your day-to-day, you're really missing out. These are a handful of projects that we see out there that are really incredible tools that can help your business. I think there's these two slides. Synthesia, for example, is a product that we use. It's an AI bot that helps you create video content for your project. We know the great work that ChatGPT is doing. Fireflies, Clickable. I mean, again, we're going to send this presentation to you. Have a look at these top tech tools and AI tools that can really help your business moving forward. Now, if we are to talk a little bit about some of the booming industries, again, AI, I see a lot of new people or new businesses focusing on AI and how they can take part of this. But traditionally, over the last 1 or 2 years, we've seen a lot of new companies being formed on Web3 and crypto and blockchain related businesses. The metaverse, somehow I feel the metaverse has slowed down a little bit in the last 6 months, 8 months. I think we had a very big hype, but somehow this has slowed down. But I do feel that this is going to pick up again. New media, again, a lot of work being done on social media, on digital agencies, edtech, agri-tech, entertainment, a lot happening on the entertainment world, in gaming industries, again, the traditional renewable energies and smart cities. Right, so at Creative Zone, we're launching a new initiative called Next Generation Entrepreneur, and we're trying to see how we can create sort of a network of next generation's entrepreneurs and how we can support them in their journey. So stay tuned to learn more on this initiative that we're building. It's going to be a collaboration with another 15 partners that are coming on board and are looking at ways on how we can help entrepreneurs on their journey of launching and successfully running their business. Again, I'm going to spend a little time on the chat and pick up a few questions. There's only 3 minutes left. Is this recording going to be recorded? Yes, it's. We're sharing this. Going through some of the questions. How do you think blockchain and cryptocurrency will affect the future of money? Well, I think it already has. I see an interesting amount of adoption especially around younger people. I personally am a big believer on crypto and blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I do use it quite often for making payments and so on. I'm yet to see what's the next curve of what is for crypto to come. Are all sessions going to be at the same time? I think they're going to be at different times. So we're going to be announcing each of the sections, each of the sessions independently, and we're going to be sending you an email. Right, going through some of the last slides, but this is a little bit the work that we're looking to do with Next Gen Entrepreneur, and the advantages. We're going to be helping with their bank account openings, with tax and accounting. We're giving them FlexiDesk solutions. We will be creating a landing page with all this information, and we're going to be giving support on media and marketing, recruitment, and the HR and support. So I want to leave you, I think we're getting to the end, with some nice quotes that I sort of find myself and relate to, that says, slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing, and your ICANN is more important than your IQ. I see a lot of people that they're so determined, and I wouldn't say they're not smart or they're not smarter people in the world, but really defines success is their determination and how they are so determined to get to what they want to be. And as I said, I think slowly is the best way or the fastest way to get to where you want to be. Finally, we have some numbers about Creative Zone and who we are as a company, but we have helped 50,000 individuals set up their businesses. If anybody is in need at this stage of setting up a company, I think our tech team can put out a landing page that we have. If you want to learn more about business setup solutions and what jurisdictions we would like to recommend you, please the team to include that on the chat function so that people can connect with us. Right, so I think I'm getting to the end of today's session, and maybe if my tech team can also include my LinkedIn page, or for those of you that you want to connect with me, you can go and find me on LinkedIn, or even my email at Creative Zone is ceo@creativezone.ae. I think there is some LinkedIn links being shared. Shamin, thank you for the great session. It's my pleasure, Shamin, and I hope that you find some value. And today it's all about sort of sharing a little bit of what we see is happening out there with the people that we work with the companies that set up their businesses with us, and a little bit of what I've learned through my journey of 30 years in business and both in entrepreneurship and in the corporate world. This is the first of 16 sessions. We wish you the best in all these sessions, and stay tuned for the rest of the initiatives that we're looking to put out there. Once again, thank you to WIO Bank and to the Birmingham University in Dubai for being part of this together with another 15 partners. And we are happy to be part of this ecosystem and to support all of you and all the entrepreneurs in the UAE and outside. And for those that are thinking of launching a business here in the UAE, we're happy to help you. So once again, thank you so much. We had over 250 people connected throughout the session. Thank you for all of you for being here, and thank you to the tech team and to everybody that was part of helping us put this presentation together. Thank once again to all. We'll see you in the next one. Best of luck. Bye-bye.